Welcome back to the Journey Podcast.
Yo.
I'm joined by Wellz. What's going on, man?
My brother Zach. How are you, bro?
Good. How are you, bro?
Appreciate you.
Really appreciate you coming on. I know we've been talking about this for a little while now.
Forever since you started.
Yeah, almost 2 years.
Literally.
2.5.
So.
But I'm glad we finally got it done. And just to like start it off, I just wanted to like kind of just give you your flowers of just always being like the most genuine person. Like whenever you're around, like it's always good energy. Like you're very outgoing, nice. You know what I'm saying? Like always got a smile on your face. So it's like,
thank you, bro.
There's not that many people around, especially like now, you know, just with the era of social media and life. We're getting older, like dudes is stressed. Like
we was trapped in the house for 2 years, so everyone came out thinking they was exactly who they was when they weren't, getting free money for a little bit, living a certain life behind a certain amount of means because you couldn't even really be outside the way you wanted to. And then once people really got outside, they realized they either didn't like themselves or each other. And it's like,
right, because you had to hang out with yourself
for mad long.
So a lot of people figured out like who they really were,
scary,
or who they actually weren't. You know, like you said.
Yup.
So, but yeah, no, I definitely just wanted to say that to you, just because like, you know, since I've known you, you've always been like the same person, like super genuine. So
thank you, bro.
Yeah, no, it's definitely. I'm glad to have someone like you on, like. Just as a person, you know, obviously not talking about like your music and your accomplishments and everything you're doing, like your journey of life, but just as like a human, like.
Thank you, bro.
Good dude, bro.
That's literally my goal. So it's like, I'm happy that you recognize it. I'm happy that what I do put out, you caught on too. So it's like, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's my mission.
I just wanted to ask, you know, I wanted to start with you, like, what made you interested in music? So what was that defining moment? Like in life, we all have moments where, you know, I could remember with basketball, I remember seeing Baron Davis, and that was when I fell in love with basketball. He was on the Warriors when he like dunked on Karolinko. It was like a moment where I was like, yo, basketball, like I love this.
That's it.
Like something like you just felt like something intuition, you know, in your intuition. That's so like, what was that moment for you for music to like create?
I mean, I always loved music. I was really into art in general. Like, as a little kid, I remember, like, I wanted to just be an artist. I just wanted to draw. It was like, I just wanted to present what I thought and felt out there. And then I fell in love with music, and it just always latched on to me. Like, without me trying to, a song would be around me. Rather than me going to look for a song, play my favorite song, a song would come to me, rather. And it almost, no matter what kind of song it was, I'd always have like a soundtrack. So it's like being that connected with music, when I finally started like thinking maybe I could do this, like maybe 7th grade really, and I started thinking, let me really put it to it.
Mm-hmm.
What was 7th grade? 7th grade was around the time when like 7th and 8th grade, like, you know when Forever came out? And like one, ball was life, and then 2, rappers wanted to be ballers and ballers wanted.
Yep.
It was literally a mix of both. 7th grade was my last year playing basketball, and then I was just kind of focused on, all right, we about to really grow up. Let's see what life really is about to be. We're about to be in high school, about to be out on a whole different type of time. This, that, the third. Like the way I was feeling, the way I was living. 9 times out of 10, if we were at a party, I would go and set up the music. You know what I'm saying? Or I would be the influence behind music. I would tell people put these couple songs on that I knew people weren't on. Boom, all of a sudden I see the party jumping. So it's like, all right, I'm not too far off of what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling. Let me really dedicate myself to it. So
that's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, and I mean, like you said, you were playing basketball up until a certain point, and it's like, you know, when things just kind of happen to fall into place in your life, like you don't always expect it. Like I always talk about just, you know, like people have dreams and stuff like that, and like when you finally get to where you're supposed to be, it's not always what you dreamed of or not what you expected. Like. So it's funny just the way like life, you know, the evolution of life and your everyday, like the things you see every day, the things you're around, the things that, you know, interest you, they become who you are, you know, over time. And it's like you've been obviously embedded in music, like you said, since you were in 7th grade.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, you know, looking back, now we're looking at almost 12, 13 years of music. So it's like
dedication.
And I feel like music is one thing that's always going to evolve. And there's always room for improvement. Obviously, there's room for improvement everywhere. But like, where could you, you know, see yourself? Like what has been like the evolution of Wellz like in the music game, like from when you first started to now? Like how did you evolve as an artist?
I like that question because not only was there like a revolution and an evolution within myself, but like low key, since I've been making music for this long, like I've gone through different stages of where the music world on the outside has been, to where like I didn't even have a reach in it, or like an input, or like any real work in there to like be compared to those times. Like 7th, 8th grade is like 08, 09, you know what I'm saying? So that's like beginning of Drake. That's Drake. If you weren't already like tuned into certain artists, you weren't really there. That's if you knew Drake, you might have streamed iHeartRadio on your Xbox 360, and it was one of the shuffle songs.
Right.
But he wasn't all over the place like he was. That was like when actually all the Young Money was booming. That was when, right? That was like Bedrock and all of that shit.
Wayne.
All different types of songs, and then boom, we go into the like 2010s and everything, and now all the sounds are different. Everything was changing up, and then boom, 4 years after that, everyone's a trapper.
Yep.
And so it's like, yeah, right. What was it? 2011, 12, when like Chief Keef and all that, everyone was drilling and all this shit. Everything was just all over the place. So being who I was, trying to find where I belong in the game kept changing. So it's like every time I did find a sound, it wasn't correlating with the hottest shit out. So it's like, once you learn like what your part in the game is and where you belong and like what you stand for in it, you're always kind of above that. So I feel like I needed to learn to stop trying to keep up with what was going on. I now like try to utilize what's going on, put my own twist to it, and then do something different. So that way I have past, present, and future.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like that's really the best way to do it, because you can't really put a timestamp on a song, on a hit. You can put a timestamp on like a hot, like super dope mixtape song that like influences like a specific time, but a hit is timeless. It's everlasting. So like you got to just do something that's so you that it speaks for the time. Mm-hmm. The time is not speaking for you. Like what's going on in the world is not going to affect what you created.
Yeah, because
it's almost like a flu game almost.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Literally.
Because like I feel like, especially now, I mean, like you even said, like the flu game, like even related to basketball, whatever, I feel like life now is like such a copycat world where everyone sees someone doing something and then they try to do it. And like a lot of the times the people who started it aren't the ones that reap the benefits. It's always the people that kind of, like you said, add their little twist to it, but they got the idea from somewhere else. And maybe they didn't have the resources or the means or the funds to, you know, bring it to a world's global scale.
Exactly.
And then a lot of those people are like, damn, like I that was me. And it's like, I could have been this, you know? So
it's like the breeding grounds for like a whole different idea, a whole different type of, a whole different movement. It's weird.
Yeah, no, especially in music, you just see it all the time. Like how many like
who's really who
sound the same.
Exactly.
Like, you know, if you really didn't, you know, if you made someone listen to music that really wasn't in the rap game, and you played, you know, 10 artists that kind of sound similar, half of them probably wouldn't even be able to tell the difference, or like who's who, you know? And it's just like everyone's just kind of copying off of each other. And then I guess that's why, you know, the people at the top are the ones with the unique sound.
Exactly.
And that's why they have the longevity in the game.
And then they make like a whole new world of a certain type of vibe. People run with it. Other people do good with it. Other people annoy people with it and make people want it to end. Yeah. And then you just see, that's usually when you see the next thing get built. And it's like, you just get so lost in it because you're like, damn, what are we even really looking for? Because you hear so many different, like, sometimes it's too watered down. Sometimes it's just way too much, oversaturated. It's like everybody keeps fucking grabbing on something. It's because things are too trendy. Mm-hmm. Everything's up in people's face via fucking meta. And it's like, it rots certain people's brains. Some people could do it and utilize it the right way. Mm-hmm. And it's a beautiful thing. But like I said, like it could turn into a wasteland. Everybody doing the same thing till there's no more of it. And then what? Then you guys get mad at the person who created it, but that shit was so dope that everybody wanted to be that next. It's scary how much power there's behind it.
Yeah. So you brought up earlier, you mentioned Drake a few times in that era. So I wanted to ask you, like, who was your artist that gave you inspiration? Was it Drake? Was like who was the artist?
That nigga just makes mad bread. He's definitely one of the most, like, he's definitely an inspiration, but he's just so. I was watching some from Goody Mob today was literally saying like, yo, you like numbers or no numbers, like every accolade that guy has is like faster than anybody else's top 5. It's just the truth. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when you think of rap, like it's just literally there. That's definitely an influence. Jeezy is like, everyone says like Tupac wrote the Bible and all this shit and everything, or like, fam, this nigga Jeezy just does it. Like, it's just different. You catch me listening to that. You catch me listening to Thug Motivation 101. I have that CD, like, like brand new, like packaged up still. I had one prior, and I had a bunch of CDs, and my dog ate a lot of them. They got destroyed in cars that I fucking crashed, burned, and flipped. It's like, it's crazy. This digital era is dope. Every time I break an iPhone, my catalog goes right back as soon as I sign it. Thank God. I can't keep getting it. Like, I have Jeezy, and I have Jeezy, Thug Motivation 101, and I have Reasonable Doubt, Jay-Z. It's like, those shits are like, they hit hard. Jay-Z's definitely an influence. Fabulous, super, because he's just different with it.
That's my favorite of all time.
He is?
I have a quote on my own, yeah.
My boy, you are too New York.
Rapper.
You're so New York, Weezy probably don't like you. Damn, that shit's dope. I gotta say Cameron one time just because he just kept coming to my head right now. I don't know why he's in my head, but like his style of just getting things done is like so influential that you can't not. There's a lot of people, Banks too. There's a lot of people I've really fucked with. It's usually a New York type of sound. I'm not biased though because my whole library is super different, but it's dope. Like,
yeah, no, that's awesome. I mean, bro, we all get inspiration from somewhere, you know what I'm saying? And of course, like if you're around it more, like why wouldn't a New York rapper look up to, you know,
exactly.
more New York rappers?
I can't help it.
It's, you know, that's just part of the game. Like people down south, like everyone loves Youngboy. Like I lived in Louisiana, and like bro, like he's like the best
probably God down there
they ever heard.
I believe.
And like I'm not a huge fan of him. Like I think he's good, but like
he does crazy numbers too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
obviously,
like,
he got people who fuck with him crazy. Yeah, he just got one. What is it? Him and Thug are the only two people with a certain amount of fucking number ones in this decade.
Wow.
Which probably, I don't know if they're considering what 2022. Yeah. They both drop crazy. Yeah. So it's the 2020s. That's scary that's even like now there's a whole new, like, a lot of rappers from the 90s brought their accolades to the 2000s, even the 2010s. We're in the 2020s now. Like, who's going to do what?
Right.
People were surpassing the Beatles and like everybody else and like getting into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, like, some crazy ass accolade. Like, what's next?
Yeah, I mean, it's only going to keep growing, especially with the power of social media, TikTok, everything. Yeah. Kind of to like shift gears from music. I wanted to ask you, like, what has been the toughest thing for you to like just like keep going and like your motivation and everything? Because not many people can, you know, withstand, you know, the process and just have and like never quitting, because like since you've started, like you haven't gave up, like there hasn't, like you haven't like skipped a beat. So it's like what is your, you know, motivation just like internally or stuff like that to just keep you going?
I mean, like I literally like I said, like it was before me and it was above me, how like the music like got a reach of me, so I could just like feel like I was doing the right thing every time I do something when it comes to music. But like literally for well over a decade, scary to say, like not just me but like my people around me, like literally like our whole lives have been based upon it, with like results that like some people could actually not fathom. Like even before we were out of high school, like me, like Long Live Forever Jared and 40 RX, my brother, like we had our hands in some like hip hop shit that now like you could get a big named artist as a bot DMing you to go utilize some events and shit, whatever you want to do. Like, bro, we were doing that like before Instagram had DMs, I believe. Like before Instagram was that, before Instagram had videos, when it was just straight pictures. Like we I don't know how, but like our efforts and like our dedication, bro, we were taking cars just to play over rough copies of what we recorded in bedrooms, closets, whatever. It sounded fire, and we just worked. There was restless nights, like when you had high school the next day, of like learning how to do this shit better than anybody else. Like having such not it's past inspiration, like having a connection where you feel like you fuck with an artist and like a group of artists, and like who's big at the time, whether it be mainstream or underground, or like they're talking next to you, not above you. So it's like, yo, I could really get with this. And when you put a certain energy into it, it comes back. So it's like, even things that I can't talk about yet, whether it not be in fruition at the moment or it's already done with, there's been things in hip hop that have just been so cool that I still just can't speak on, just because of what I've worked on. Like it's a lifestyle, and the people who aren't faking it and doing it for a cover, for a picture, for a like, for instant gratification, people who are in it for the long haul. I guess I proved myself to a certain amount of people that like, there's people who actually do listen to me. So it's like, I do it for them. I listen to myself. My people around me always tell me what I can do better or what I did so great. So it's like, I got people who are looking for the next one at this point. It's like, I'm not rich off rap by any means. I'm not rich in general. I'm rich with spirit, with life, with aspirations. And after doing that, I get money from music. That's an extra, that's one of many different incomes that I look forward to. So that's awesome. I'm a CEO of my own label and clothing line for the next 4 years. I pay taxes, but I also get tax returns. And I make sure that everybody gets the proper split of all their music. We distribute it under our name early, so that if we do get to where we have to go, we can't get backdoored off rip.
Right.
Like, we found all the little keys, and maybe I think every day, maybe we've done everything this way so right that when we do reach where we believe we're supposed to be, there won't be no looking back. There won't be any worries moving forward. It will be the paved path that a lot of artists hope they could have been on. So,
yeah. You had obviously you mentioned, the closest people to you, and I obviously we've all dealt with like tough times in life. So I just wanted to ask you, like, how did you handle going through that, and like would you classify that as like the toughest time in your life?
Yeah, no, that was definitely that was obvious. Yeah, that was the hardest shit I've been through yet. Just because it's like that was just like past a pain. It was past a pain just because like when you hear me say 40 in a song, when you see one of us wearing the clothes, when you see our tattoos, like that was every day. Yeah. And like all those every days also came with a lot of plans for the future, and like what seemed to be stamped in guarantees that are no longer there. And it's something I still haven't even really taken the time to like actually let hit me all the way, because of just when I see what has already been accomplished, what we have done. When you Google any of our names, like you see like us as artists and you see what we've accomplished. I just know that no matter how fucking crazy and hard and troublesome it's been, it's like we need the finished product. And right before the credits roll, the story that we always knew was supposed to happen still has to happen. And that's because he needs to see it like that still. And that's what that is. It's like it's like he deserves that. If he can't reach it with us, he's still gonna see the final product as exactly what he knew it was, what we all promised each other it was gonna be. So
yeah, because I mean, I obviously, as you know, like I lost my mom when I was 12, so like that was like super tough for me when I was, I didn't even know what the fuck was going on. So it's like, but if I could choose, if there was no other road, right, and it was, she was gonna pass either way, would I rather she passed when I was 12 or at 25 when I really kind of understand like how precious life is?
Yes.
I would choose 12 years old 100 times out of 100 because I really didn't even know. So like that's why like I commend you, and I remember the night like seeing you at the wake, and I just remember just like seeing you like, and like bro, like I was like crushed, you know what I'm saying, like seeing you, because like the type of person you are, like I mentioned in the beginning of the podcast, it was like you've never, like you wouldn't think to see you like that, you know what I'm saying?
I would pray I never get like that again every day of my life.
And like some advice from me to you, obviously, and I've mentioned this a bunch on podcasts, but if to take a positive from a negative, right? Like up until this point, like you said, like that's been the worst thing that's ever happened to you. So up until my life, when I was 12, that was the worst thing that happened to me. So you've got through it. You said like, yeah, you maybe haven't really digested it yet and really, had it resonate with maybe acceptance, like, because there's parts of grieving and there's stages to it. So it's like I'm at the point now with 13 years removed from losing a loved one. It's like you've already gone through the worst thing that could happen in your life. There's not many worse things that you could go through up until this point. So it's like from your day-to-day life, any other bullshit that you go through, it's like, bro, like I got through that. Like I'm gonna be good.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? Like regardless, like you get a flat tire, you know what I'm saying? Like you just the minuscule things that happen in life that you may stress over, that's helped me tremendously moving forward, because like if I'm like, yo, I'm not gonna worry about this.
Already hit a higher plateau at one point, and now anything above that is a new challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
It's like I'm not, if I'm not gonna worry about this 5 minutes from now, a day from now, like I'm not gonna spend energy right now stressing that. So like, I mean, I'm not sure if you look at life that way or you live from that, but I mean that was just the biggest take that I took out of losing a loved one. I was like, bro, like I'm gonna be good regardless. You know what I'm saying? I kept going. Like I got to keep going, tatted on my arm. Like just keep going. Like because that's the only thing you can do, and that's what they would want you to do.
That's what they need you to do.
Yeah, seriously.
Literally. Like I try to keep everything about my brother fresh in everybody's face as much as possible. You know what I'm saying? Because just with the timing and everything, it's. Nobody could tell me he's not here still right now, you know what I'm saying? So like if anyone's going to, like before anybody could try to, even if it's like truth, quote unquote, you know what I'm saying? Truth as a being, try to tell me it's wrong, I'll present him one way or another to prove that false. And like I live for that. Like I literally live for that. So that's literally like a new fight. Excuse me. That I literally... That's what I'm saying. Like I just feel like I just leveled up talking about it, because like I don't even talk about things like this, but it's how like I think like I'm really just like I have to keep him all the way right here. Like I can't, like a lot of times people let time pass and things fade and this, that, the third. I'm not really that type of person. You know what I'm saying? Because I just know who he is, and I know it don't have to be like that just yet. Like, because it does hurt too much when for a lot of situations it could go a lot of ways where you just kind of just digress and just let time heal, which really is just like sweeping things under the rug. Like I spent so much time just right next to him that like I still bring exactly the thought, the feeling, and etc. like that to certain scenarios, just to help me get through them, because like, and it's like it's still right there, because like you said, like 25, 26, it's like that's a time where you're like, this is not how things are going. Things are not supposed to be going like this. So it's like, how close I was to him, I hear him tell me, so it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to go like that. Don't predestine yourself to just let a spiral of more sadness and negativity keep going. It's like, even at his worst time, he was moving like he could be in a real bad situation with a smile most people don't have when they get a brand new car type shit. You feel me? So it's like that alone is like motivation and inspiration enough to know like whatever the next phase, what the next level, what the next life, where your spirit goes and how everything is handled, like where he's at right now. I try to keep in tune and just like remember from the past, try to see where this future now leads. With him being an inspiration, a representation as well. It's like it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean that's really the only thing you can do. You know what I'm saying? And obviously that's what he would want you guys to do. And I mean, it's never gonna get easier. You know, it's always just gonna, it's life. You know,
Yeah.
And the only thing you can do is just, you know, continue to do what you would do. You know, if he was here, and it's how I try to live my life, and just try to just like you said, like use it as motivation, bro. Use it as inspiration, and it's just gotta be your why, and it almost gives you an edge.
Yes.
It literally almost gives you an edge. Like a lot of people live their lives and they don't have a why. There's so many people. Think of like we're at like such a weird age now where there's so many people that like have it completely figured out, or people that have no idea what the fuck is going on, and then there's some people in the middle. And it's like, I feel like to get out of this rat race and out of this rut, like you gotta have a why.
Yes.
Like you have to have a reason
Yes.
to continue to pursue whatever you're chasing, because it is very
and like
easy.
reach it. It's
Yeah.
like you got to get your system going to guarantee that your goal is going to be accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you just keep, a lot of people who are in the rat race, they're looking forward, and bro, all they're looking at is gold. But you don't understand, like, whether it's figuratively or whether it's realistically, to get to gold, you got to go through dirt. If you're running and you have to go through the mud, but you see the gold right up there, you got to do it. Or realistically, if you're in a mine, you got to take your axe and just, you got to go through dirt to get to gold.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. And the people who are tired of being so dirty, and they're like, you know what, I'm going home, I'm gonna wash up, I'm gonna come back tomorrow. People who didn't mind staying in that dirt a little longer got rich, and they never had to go back again. Then people who needed that shower real quick got to go back another 10, 15 years to reach for it. Son got that one time they needed to take a quick bath because they were just too dirty, too itchy, couldn't deal with it. The fuck? I've been minding this whole time. Like you said, my consistency is kind of impressive compared to a lot of people's. Yeah. I dropped my split. Don't let that be an interruption to this beautiful clip we got. My consistency has been fucking damn near aggravating at some points, because it's like when you go this long, but like I've never let myself fall back from anything. Every time I do something, it's always progressive, or it's always somewhat taking it one step further. And that's like now with the, like you said, I got a why. Like when you're rapping, you're telling a story. People could go back to my beginnings, or they could listen to the song I dropped a couple months ago, and they'll be like, oh, he's showing a point in his life. I'm from where he's from. I understand what he's saying. Wow, I remember the time now. I'm catching that feeling of what was going on at this time period. Damn, I've grown. He's saying some shit that made me realize I'm not doing as bad as I was at that time, or even 2 days ago. So let me keep fucking going. Let me keep moving forward, because like now I'm back on the roll. That's what my inspiration is. And if I could keep doing that the way I'm doing it, it's not just entertainment, but it's also life lessons, and it's also like stepping stones for people to take their lives to the next level. And I'm like teaching what I've learned and taken in to help do that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, like you said, I mean, especially like you were saying earlier with you got to go through the mud and stuff like that, and I feel like this is the fun part, like the grind, like the journey, like that's literally the reason why I started this, like the journey of life, like this is the whole point of it, because if you didn't go through any of this, when you finally would make it, like you wouldn't appreciate it.
Exactly.
Because you didn't you don't have any type of understanding of pressure and hard work and dedication and consistency, and you build as a person and you build as a character, and you create this, you create the main story of your own like movie of your own life. If the way you look at it, like there has to be like trials and tribulations. Like what movie is a good movie without something that went wrong? There's no such thing.
You need a peak.
You know
There's peaks and valleys.
And there was like one of my favorite quotes, and it's literally the quote I got into podcasting. It was Modson and this Mike, who was my favorite artist, and they were just talking about like the peaks and valleys, and he was saying, sometimes you go up, right? You're up a mountain and you're at what you think is a peak, right? Like you think you've reached your top mountain, whatever, and then you get knocked the fuck off and you fall down, and then you look and like there's a bunch of different valleys you could take, and like you go up this other one, and like you have to fight to survive, and you're just clawing to stay alive, and then you finally get through all that, and then you look down at where you once were, and you're like, oh shit, like I just had to go through all this to get here.
There's even more. The story continues.
Like, and that's how you just got to like approach life, I feel like, day to day. And it's just something that I don't know if you can really learn it. Like I feel like some people are just born with it. Like it's just something from within. Because
you got to just keep going.
Yeah.
Funny story. Actually a perfect story. Boom. I'm at the crib literally a couple days ago.
Mm-hmm.
We're watching something about the United States military, me and Damien. We're just talking this, that, the third. We talk about my grandfather, my mother's father, who was a Korean War veteran, shot in his spine by friendly fire, in a wheelchair, but still drove a car with all the gears like up because he didn't have use of his legs. Gangster, wild gangster, working in a factory after, like, it's crazy. But we're talking about how like there's certain people built like that, and then there's other people who just like need something like this to just help me, and it's like for only so much. Like these things need our help at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? When it gets broken, it don't fix itself, and he does to put it back together. So it's like people like my grandfather. I was talking to Damien, and he said, well, I said, yo, like, I don't understand how people wake up and they go out and like complain about this, that, the third. Like, once upon a time, like, in anybody's bloodline, in anybody's past, like, we were caveman, fam. Like, we had to fight saber-toothed tigers, bro. Like, you wasn't even like looking to get sweaty, breaking down like trees for lumber to build fam. You picked the next cave that was closest after you beat the dog shit out of a saber-toothed tiger. You kidding me, bro? And then you had to do that again like the next day. Like, what? Humans are built to handle a lot. They can get through a lot. And like, I sound like mad powerful, mad quotey, all that. No. The reason I'm saying this story is because as soon as I was done saying that shit, Damien said, yo, can I tell you something funny real quick? One time, me and Jared were smoking, and he said, yo, did you ever realize that every time Rob's talking, he always brings it back to how cavemen had to fucking fight saber-toothed tigers? I started crying, laughing, because like, I was like, that's something that we would have heard like any time of the day, like, because my dumb ass going to bring it up again later because I think I'm being inspirational, this, that, the third. And he'd be like, yo, he said this last week. So, like, that's a quote from my brother right there. That shit was fire. Like, that shit, he said, yo, you talk to Rob about anything. It could be any subject. It could be what your favorite dinner was. He'll be like, yo, you know, like, how lucky you are to eat that dinner. Like, back in the day, people had to fight saber-tooth tiger. I'll be like, damn, like, he's right. Like, I drag it sometimes. But, like, that's what I'm... Like, that's my thought process. Like, not directly that. I don't want people to think I'm a weirdo. Like, oh, yeah, I'm going to fight a saber-tooth tiger. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, I feel like I'm born with a will to go get it. And it's by any means. Like, I don't want to fail. Like, I definitely don't want to lose. Like, look, a lion's running at me. Like, I'm not gonna promise you I'm gonna fucking beat it up. But like, I'm gonna say I'm at least think and get myself out of the situation best I can till I can't. That's what I'm saying. Like, the will to just do until you can't do no more.
Belief. That's really all it comes down to.
You gotta shoot for it. Like,
Yeah.
like, and fuck that corny, like, you miss 100% shot. No, nigga, you just gotta fucking just keep going for anything. If you know you're gonna miss the shot, get a better sport. That's going. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's even like people waste time and sit sometimes too long. You can't always just sit and marinate. Like, that's one thing, like, I always respect when I see people, like, it's not about finding a lane, it's creating a lane. Finding a lane sounds like you're taking over someone else's thing. Like, you kind of do, it's better to create your own lane. Like, build that whole road. Like, make it exactly what you know it's supposed to be to get you where you gotta go. That's what I think is so fire. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't do that, then
you fall off.
Yeah, you can't, and
you need your own recipe.
Exactly. Like, you can't, like we spoke about earlier, like, you just can't copycat. You can't fall into, I guess, what society always wants you to do. You
That's
can't
just whack.
fall into, what everyone else is doing, because, I mean, do you want to be like everyone else, or do you want to be an individual? Do you want to be exclusive? Do you want to be different?
You don't leave an imprint properly if you're not individual, and like you gotta be one of one. When people don't do that, that's why the way everybody in like the creative workspace that I'm around, like down to you, like everybody, like I feel like it's a handful of people who work together but all have individual mindsets to where like it's perfect. Like, rather than trying to jump in other people's lanes, everybody's creating their own to where it's mutually beneficial. Like, when people make money together, when you can make money together as a unit and make goals become reality as a unit and work and build, like literally building an empire, you can't fail. Everybody around you has the same means at some point. Like, everybody builds together for each other, with each other. Everyone's got their own individual bread, but everyone's doing that together. Everything, like, you can't crumble like that. And then from there, you just educate yourself on the best method to not only keep that shit locked in, but how that money will make you money.
Yeah.
And then it's just everything just
it's a mob mentality.
Has to be.
And, I see it all the time, especially like my favorite artist, Mike, like that's how they live. Like he has his own, he's not signed under any record. Like, he does everything on his own. He does, he has like the Patreon type stuff where like his real fans actually support. Like, me and Jake filmed his concert. Like, it was crazy. Yeah. So like, but that's a dude, what I'm saying, that, I don't know about musically if you would be like in tune with him, but just the way he approaches the music game,
I'm already hearing.
You should tap into him and just
definitely would.
Listen. He does podcast and he talks about it all the time. He literally just dropped one about the music game.
Send me that shit when you can, bro. For real,
bro. And he was a Division I pitcher at Duke, and he was All-American as a freshman.
He switched his whole
got
shit.
Tommy John surgery, never could throw again. Started making beats in the dorms at Duke with Marcus Stroman. Marcus Stroman's from out east, from Pat Med. He played for the Mets last year. Now he's on the Cubs. That was his roommate. They started making music in the dorms, bro. His first song, called College Humor, popped off. He was like one of those, like, like frat white boy, beer drinking rappers.
Like, what's his name? What's that one kid's name from back in the day? The I Love College kid.
It's like Asher Roth.
Yeah, they're like that.
Similar.
Asher Roth got bars though.
No, he does. So does this dude. Like,
so that's cool. Then
this is how he started, and now,
like the college
bro,
shit,
like he went through a breakup and like completely like changed his whole music.
Oh
now
God,
he's like,
he snapped.
Oh, bro, he's like spiritual now. Like, doesn't do any of that. So like, you should like you would fuck with him just as like a person and just like a dude in the music game that
I'll tune in what he got going
his
on.
Own path. Like,
that's
literally.
I'm cool with shit like that.
Yeah. He's
you got to be as individual as possible and just lock that shit in, and then boom, put people on the game.
Mm-hmm. So, you talked about belief before, and that was one of my other questions I wanted to ask you. Like, how strong is your belief that like you're going to make it? Because not many people, like we said earlier, like can put in this amount of time and continue to look forward to the next day and look forward to continuing.
100%.
So it's like where is your belief at? Like where do you see yourself like moving forward? Because like obviously you're continuing to grow each year, each couple months, everything as an artist and with everything you're doing. So I just kind of just talk about like the belief in yourself and like what you have in store moving forward.
I mean, it's just like you have certain dreams and certain visions of like what the top is, and like for me, I see myself as getting. I want to really be like. I want my songs to be heard, my talent to be recognized. I'm not really looking to be like out there as like. I don't want my privacy invaded all day, 24/7 like type shit. But sometimes that's inevitable. But I really do want to see myself all the way. I know I will see myself all the way like at the top. Like maybe not the best rapper in the world, quote unquote, because at this point like the music industry is so like saturated. Like to actually do that in a certain amount of time, sometimes at this like sadly, and this talent wise, I could do it, but where everything is getting and where like all these shiesty fucking record companies and everything, like you would need a gimmick to just like have something go super, super big first to even get in the rate, you know what I'm saying? But where I am, I'm just at this point like getting everything lined up in order to where like I'm gonna just make money no matter what, and then get myself, even if it's just like my own label, whatever the whatever it might be, like you're gonna know my name in rap, like all the way. I'm going to be there. Like when you see certain people, like expect me to be there too. That's just, I know it. I know it. So, yeah.
And then one of the last questions I had, like, who's the biggest artist you've worked with so far?
Who is the biggest artist?
Was it DNA?
DNA? No, at this point we got Corey. We got a couple songs with Corey Guns. That's Young Money. We got a song off the new tape with Miss 100 Summers. That's just pretty serious. Who else do we have? Oh, I got Frenchie. I got Waka Flocka's cousin too, Frenchie. Yeah. Free Frenchie. He going through some shit right now. Hope everything's all right. For real. Like I'm not laughing. I'm like I can't believe that that's like it's been that long that I made that song with him. Like that I used to play that song like literally the only song for like weeks and months on end. Like forgetting that that's in the catalog. Like it's crazy. And then I have songs with second generation Wu-Tang under the belt. A couple other things. Like I got some cool shit going on, and I got some things in the works too actually that I forgot. Like it's future projects, but like there's some people I've spoken to where gonna make some cool shit happen, and that's just hopefully just wrapping up 2022. 2023 is about to be even cooler because, like I said, I'm gonna be working on some stuff that might be a little different than how most people have gotten things out there. So it's like I'm gonna try to reach the people in a whole new light. Get some things going.
All right.
You'll see.
Yeah, no, good shit, bro.
I appreciate you, God.
And then do you want to kind of just send us home talking about your new song that's about to drop?
Yeah, I got the new.
So when is it coming out?
Thursday, October 20th. Coming out
Thursday, so it'll be out by the time this comes out Monday.
Yeah, so
it'll be out by then.
Let me know what you think.
I'll put the link.
Absolutely.
Everything below.
Appreciate you. Catch that. Rob Wellz, of course, produced by Omari. Coming out October 20th. This shit's about to be crazy, bro. And then I got a couple other things coming. I got 2 mixtapes, Emotel and Diamond Roulette. But I have to wait on that. You'll catch it soon.
At that time, 40. Know me got me far, know me got me where I'm going. And it's all the same me, that's the reason that I'm glowing. Y'all niggas lying saying you ain't heard of 4-0 yet. Y'all funny as Orlando Brown explaining no role sex wildin'. I'm back on my bullshit, y'all ain't inspiring. Been a year since I lost Jay, I hate how the time's flying. Niggas getting shot every where I see all action is at. Address me, internet ain't where reactions are at. My shots are stronger than 100 proof in a flash with a cap. See less vacations since the stemmies died out, and a lot less hoes till them cities fly out. A lot of wet wells really seem to dry out, except Wellz don't be hitting myself if you fried out. Every time I drop I hear it when I'm on road, praying every night I don't get tried by John Doe. Haven't worn my watch in months, like where did the time go? Been running out autopilot, where did my mind go? I trade a square for a rectangle. My money on my left side, guess that's my best angle. I bless the world and y'all still ain't say thank you. Real niggas already know, don't let the bread change you. Don't let the new girl is foreign for real. I drive a foreign 4 wheels, technically actually 2. Next whip I'm snatching the coupe. I'm trying to teach y'all the growth, let you witness progression. First thing I don't want is death, in that list prison is second. I hit the booth like a reverend, still repping my exit. These niggas make me sick, I should call this shit Pepsin, cause I'm fixing my stomach. These problems, no you don't want it. Working on a 6-pack, sour beer till I vomit. I still got growing to do, I gotta ration my energy. My main obby, you know who got so much rap for my enemy. Just gotta stay back, so open for whatever the universe is sending me. Making sure my imprint's solid before I become a memory. Let me tell them one more time. I stay back, so open for whatever the universe is sending me. Make sure my imprint's solid before I become a memory. And I'm done. And I haven't even begun.